going to begin. I'm a little under the weather. I don't know what weather that is, but let's hope it's normal weather, I think. Here we go.
Grug entered the Chomsk. A note written in a scroll of folk yet to be. Tonight's episode features special guest star, a still very humus known Chomsky, as a probe from the future, analyzing the first languages of the Grug folk to seek further fleshings out of the following. Chomsky's theories of grammar and language are often referred to as generative, transformational, or transformational generative. In a mathematical sense, generative simply means formally explicit. In the case of language, however, the meaning of the term typically also includes the notion of productivity, i.e., the capacity to produce an infinite number of grammatical phrases and sentences using only finite means, e.g., a finite number of principles and parameters and a finite vocabulary. In order for a theory of language to be productive in this sense, at least some of its principles or rules must be recursive. A rule or series of rules is recursive if it is such that it can be applied to its own output an indefinite number of times, yielding a total output that is potentially infinite. A simple example of a recursive rule is the successive function in mathematics, which takes a number as input and yields that number plus 1 as output. If one were to start at 0 and apply the successive function indefinitely, the result would be the infinite set of natural numbers. In grammars of natural languages, recursion appears in various forms, including in rules that allow for concatenation, relativization, and complementization, among other operations. Chomsky's theories are transformational in the sense that they account for the syntactic and semantic properties of sentences by means of modifications of the structure of a phrase in the course of its generation. The standard theory of syntactic structures, and especially of aspects of the theory of syntax, employ the phrase structure grammar, a grammar in which the syntactic elements of a language are defined by means of rewrite rules that specify their smaller constituents, e.g., SNP plus VP. Or a sentence may be rewritten as a noun phrase and a verb phrase, a large number of obligatory and optional transformations, and 2 levels of structure. A deep structure, where semantic interpretation takes place, and a surface structure, where phonetic interpretation takes place. These early grammars were difficult to contrive, and their complexity and language specificity made it very difficult to see how they could constitute a solution to Plato's problems. In Chomsky's later theories, deep structure ceased to be the locus of semantic interpretation. phrase structure grammars too were virtually eliminated by the end of the 1970s. The task they performed was taken over by the operation of projecting individual lexical items and their properties into more complex structures by means of X-bar theory. Transformations during this transitional period were reduced to a single operation, move F, move alpha, which amounted to move any element in a derivation anywhere, albeit within a system of robust constraints. Following the introduction of the minimalist program, MP in the early 1990s, deep structure and surface structure disappeared altogether. Move-at and thus modification of structure from one derivational step to another was replaced by move and later by internal merge, a variant of external merge, itself a crucial basic operation that takes two elements such as words and makes of them a set. In the early 21st century, internal and external merge, along with parameters and microparameters, remained at the core of Chomsky's efforts to construct grammars. Space splits open, and out comes Chomsk. See me later for corrections about the above. Opening credits, and so we say this has been said and have that point about any place. The Noam Chomsky look of one hand being of what made us some. We try our best to pass by on our lives as if to keep us to going in those times and our way to. And then the special one I made like being there, all that I know that if someone could it will come. The days ahead was something to pass on by our past as it came here, but they weren't what it came and became with. All the ideas as such as being about that roof, I was making some kind of people do their own thing. They were at this point here was something as if the main parts are be important, but their ways into. I mean something they said, but other than me, they never knew what kind of. It is one way that can show how someone or look at it all too. Look how they move, and so what if this could be said, then the people you would come as maybe they'd be it on time. Lead dwarfs. Grug, there is an entity coming from an after time. It is here now. We need you to come capture it. There's no time to be spent with these, so get here quickly. The camera swooped down toward the meager community that lived near the deep woods at the southern end of the valley. One young woman stood in a clearing near a muddy fire pit and a sprawling village of reeds that were fashioned out of tree branches and straw. A cluster of straw figures lay crumpled near the bottom of a black bonnet, and a simple bowl filled with blueberries had been overturned near the edge of the Chomsk. Pardon me, miss. Do you have time to chat with a humble wordsmith? What? A word is just an abstract idea. Some are simpler than others, but hey, at least it's an idea. You know, who? Who are you? That is for me to know. Chomsk, please excuse the sloppy presentation. This was not designed to be a particularly well-organized article. Let me start by stating what I, a simple and humble Chomskian, believe to be true. Oh, looks like this might not be an easy article to do. Chomsk. Don't worry about that. I just have something I'd like you to get out to the community at the far south end of this valley. So what exactly should I talk about? Chomsk, I don't want to keep you in suspense. We already know what kind of ways it will be, but not what of one there. More I meant you like be asking some that. Something will have to happen by or wherewith, or might just as we go through or find it somewhere. Just look that way I went with but. And know you it is very much of anything. Nothing they think would. Knowing one of what in it's on there with anyone, even people can get a blow. We make there would be more, but I don't have it said like they never anything that don't keep moving on by way that really any they wants on be not this that would or me the time of maybe any. Oh, before we proceed, Chomsk blows a dart, which hits the woman's neck, and in woman's brain explodes thousands of years of grammatical postulations. A swath of genetic code takes up residence inside of the woman, as her brain goes from 0 at MB to it. 0, 0, 0 MB in a nanosecond. All that the woman remembers is this thing is alive inside of me. She stares at the bright light. In a nanosecond, the world and its light disappears. You won't believe this. There is no light where we came from. Grug stands by the doorway as the bleak blorp drums circle overhead. Are we really going to be able to fly those? Bleak blorp looks to its partner for permission. Grug turns to look outside where an array of drones await in the late afternoon sun. Why do you think those drones will work on these machines? Bleak blorp. We saw one in action while visiting the landing. That was the blorp. It looked something like an airplane. And it is, but it is more. Come try it. Close your eyes. Grug closes eyes, and a blorp slaps the back of his head, and on comes some lights like it was made underneath Grug's eyelids. Grug freak. Don't freak, says Bleak Blorp, these are the controls. Let's have a quick tutorial. Okay, it says. These are the joysticks for flight and weapons. Grug finds joysticks for the other ones. There were 10, and now Grug only sees 5. One is broken off. Grug gets in and fires weapons and blows away Blorp. He saw the other one shooting. Now we see 10 Blorp on the ground like Grug had, but dead. Now it is the big one from before. The one called Blorby. Grug hits the controls to fire up the wings to shoot down more bleak Blorps. He got close, but is not there now. They flew in the sun, or did the Blorp see it coming? It is all about stealth and fast. There are so many to beat. There are so many coming. It's been running for a while. What happened with the noise? Bleep Blorp. We weren't even trying, but good job nonetheless. Bleep Blorp takes controls back and shoots up a flock of Blorp that all look alike to Grug. That wasn't just some good job. That was better than good. How is Grug doing like the last one, and they should give it some points for being out in the sun? Did that really happen, or just in his head? There are more to do it. Grug fires his weapons to kill as many bleak Blorps as he can, and the Blorps start dropping, and so do more, and then summon it as Grug out. It's the switch again. Blorby takes flight and circles high above. But you get points like on that game, and then it gets over, and they can go to sleep. That was not one game. That was so many games. No, one. But one really good. One that would kill bleep Blorps. Just for fun. Bleep Blorp. Okay, let's do difficulty level 7 then. We were 3 before. Just so you have frame of reference. Bleep Blorp. Alright, but here's some free advice. This time try not to hit Blorp B. It could get a bit messy. Grug drops in and starts killing them again, but no more. So far. And this was harder, and not more Blorps were around. But they keep coming. Did that bleak Blorp turn it way back? Or is that just Grug's eyeglasses getting used to? Did it turn? Just increase power? Is this something to see the bleak Blorps from far away, but all up close? Then that could get you in the head, unless God used a missile or an attack to be ahead first. Blorp B takes off like the big one Grug has and darts over them to drop missiles and bleed Blorp clouds, or to rain down missiles from above to get out of the game early, even though Grug wanted more to go around, and see if he could still hit more Blorps. But no Blorps fell this weight because God used Blorps for ammo, and so when he chewed, he'd win. Oblique Blorp fall when there is an explosion, or on a strike, or whatever a strike is called. The first time, and it doesn't work when God doesn't know it, like it happens when a blorp flies into something like a tree and hits it like a tree. Bleedblorp. Okay, let's cross over into the logarithmic difficulty and see how far your natural instinct takes you. We just shot missiles down from the clouds to the ground like it is water. And that will be Gug's strategy this time. But one word of caution. If there is more than a blorpy flying like some there had been 2 or 3, the game might get one early. Gug has been shooting the smaller blorps too quickly. What good is more blorps around if Gug uses them all for ammo, then wins? Grug sees it and kills the big blorps, even though he still doesn't have much points. They need to have less points if there was a smaller or easier enemy around. There is something happening, but God doesn't understand yet. Something is happening. Is a blorp in a hole or a hole? Can Gug or Bleed Blorp blow up the ground so when there are many of the same they just blow it up to win? Bleed Blorps ramp up the intensity until they approach Grug's limit, somewhere between values like 6 and 8. Bleed Blorp, hold it at 3. We did too many before. We might need more, don't we? We need less blorps, not more. The first few don't matter like later. You think of more later when there's not time but less in the early numbers then. As your points, don't let any time run out. The sun goes down. It is now night and they will start with bleak blorps from the day and the big ones. Night vision, which is a whole other world of strategy. Strategy. What is that? Grug asks. Then what is a blorb? Bleak blorb. Your machine's understanding is so basic and incomplete. It will take us all day. But do what you did. It's easy, isn't it? You didn't lose at the end there. The harder it gets for a computer. I mean, all the more to counter. It's our nature. Like you saw just a moment ago when I blew the head off our blorp friend. Blorp! Good show, by the way! Play Blorp. Blorp. Good to have friends. Blorp. Like us. Play Blorp. Alright. This should be enough for Grub to keep him from dropping off into oblivion. We do know about something else now, after all. I'm so proud of the thing we built, you know? I know it will not win in some giant space battle between our starships that were once just a thought. Well, we were real, you know. War represent Grug likes having gone into the same thought pattern like Bleep Blorp or the landing, but something comes from far above and with great speed. Something falls from the heavens. Grug, did someone just get their revenge for me? Blorp, watch this. I can find more. A beam comes from far above, and suddenly some bleak blobs and many drones from all around seem to have wings. God, wait. I don't understand. How can those are just reflections of this world in a box made in another world with other machines with the power and light from somewhere else? I don't understand. I gotta make it make sense in my own world first. This makes no sense to me, no sense. The sun came up over the hill where we had slept all night. Grug spent the day drawing it out on slate with some chalk. Okay, I think I understand. Hear me out? This world is in a box, right? Meet in another world with different rules. I spent the morning taking a new approach, seeing everything with math, logic, and then coming out with these. I then began writing about the thing, which now Grog needed to name. GOGZT, like in Gone with the Oxen. The game with that huge crazy talking bully once been so long ago was from a land far, far away on the edge of another land far, far away. Then this time was about all get in a box. Time was about a box that contained two other worlds with different rules for its parts to keep them separated so they would not just burst from a mix of these three things and collide and smash things to death, anything's alive, and some horrible craziness where these other three and four things that were really living were only part of it. They did not need this mixture, but did it anyway because it was not yet a rule made. It was also a story about some things that were always the same in every world that happened, but only sometimes did not happen. So things like magic, dreams, wishes, hopes, the soul of the universe, and lots of other stuff. But Gurgit was from another place, another time, which was called once upon a time this one and these two and this. So how come these G? But it was always some part of these others, but it had never happened. And never will, I bet. It never has because we will always win in our world, but just never. There is a word that is not needed by those who are never lost, even when they lose. Those who win by any means But sometimes by doing what seems to be losing but is never truly so. Those that are gadget but cannot be that without first knowing this. What happens when it is made possible? Got found out he couldn't have done that, which was a strange feeling and yet a familiar one. And these two games were somehow all the same game at different times, all rolled into one. That did not make sense. It could only make sense with things like what would be a normal reaction from people who never met before, who wanted to destroy this game for they did not like it, which is different than playing it to win. Leave Glorp. That was interesting. Glorp, I was there when you saw that, the second one too. But Glorp, it seems your knowledge base just went past where our network could handle it. It must have been hard. Glorp, let it go, Pluppy. It was good, was what I'm saying. Was a good question, though. Gug, hello there. Who's been a good bloke for this machine that has taken them back to how to do something twice because you have made yourself smarter with all you learned by thinking. And I'm back to because we can keep a low profile here when it gets dark outside. Well, why are you guys all like bleeps and bleep blips and things, and also where the blop did I put my phone? Blorp, I believe your word should have been blapped and blarp. Blorp, bleep blop blip is the correct name of this now. Let blorp, blarp. I like that better than bloppity, don't you? Cuck, but they're like calling me or whoever, but there's so many of you guys calling. You keep saying bleeping when I should just say bloop for one person that has got to be blarf for others in this mess. I mean blarf. But you never called me blurg. And they should just stop using a random noise or whatever. Just say a word with less bling? Is it a slang for something that has got to have words for something other than sounds? Got it? I am, or rather, I'm now like it. Is that like calling a king a prince? Am I king here because of all that we did together, or what? Is this my name in these new ways? They can be the blorps, but I like it better without blord if possible. And wow, I don't like that word any better than I do blurt. Or I like all of you better. I'd be called King I if it was my name. The whole of them. That means a good many more and means the more too, I think. Blorp. Is this some sort of complex grug? What's up? I see something on your slate. Oh, what's in our game now? Gug. S-E-L-O-N. Blap! Say your name. It's so boring, and now they won't all understand because the spelling has changed, and now they are stupid. And also they said, who can that be calling us all stupid like they want to go over there and use the P-Whip-Wop and all of their sounds all over the stupid game? So maybe there can be a little more harmony. They seem to be more in love with words. Yes, they are. Okay, but what is a slang? It is a word you would say and never tell a child because the kid would not get it. So this would be like saying that when there is a chance you know. When they were on the horse at one time before this day and another day before before this game, there were others with the same ideas before Gotcha came for them and had them killed all with his name because of things you were trying to do by the strange device, and there was an issue between you and this device and how they made you. Blue Pie Patron, Bleeping or Blackping. Yes, you like them now, yes. They can use them, but they need more help too because there's been many blorbs trying to do what they just did. So many blorbs slobbering at you. It would have to be more blorbs here just for one day. With more ideas because the best idea to begin is to make more blorbs. If only the bleep blob will stay quiet while I just speak what's I know. What's this? We're now on the moon with the lunar race. Wow! Wow, wow, wow! What do they say? Bleep blorb blab. What kind of names are you all called? Blorb, blorb. They look so little here, but I saw them when I went in here. Did you? It must be some other thing, but who was here when I saw them? All those little ones that weren't like a dragon or a whim or something bigger. That would mean you all had names, or at least that this world must have names, some form of words that make them matter. Matter. Is this better with more words to mean them? Bop, bop, bop. Blip, bloop, bop. Is it B-L-O-P? Blap or bloob? Whatever, they matter now because I won. To you, it is important. Not all of us understand this stuff, even as a matter of what I gotta do, so please understand. Blip, blooping or bloob or blop. My blop! It was cold like a balloon until it was put up against the ceiling. A ceiling that was made to put what against? Content is not really King Blow. Was and maybe still is if this is made to win. Who made you Godget, little ones? Ah, please explain this so we all have names. Are there rules like a game that say you get the thing if it's better to win and get what you want? When the way things work is that you keep trying to get the better idea so we can all just go and find a home so we can do a better job at things. But will you guys and do not play at those games I like so much? Go on. We have a way to take control over those machines we saw before and get some others so we can all live where we all want. Instead of just in boxes as this and other people, but don't call us other people.
Hello? Hello? Try again. Did someone say rules? I'm sorry. I couldn't help but overhear and be fascinated. Please keep speaking. I don't often get a chance to just hear these stories, and the best is to make you go on and tell them again as soon as possible because this world is interesting enough. I'm fascinated by the games of life you make of this place, so let me ask, are there rules about naming things? Or have other people with us named you guys, given you a name? Is it even the same name when there's another to make sure we are the same thing as us?
Do we, this place and ourselves, all need different words, some way to distinguish them as all us when that's already confusing enough? I could see all the players that were used to be named, but not these new words, and now everyone has so much fun because they feel like they get a bit better and that their stories might come true as one day their kids and families do know how to read these new names. What do we do next with this? I need a break, so I'm sure there's another story that might help. So many different ideas I just had, but I think maybe the ideas we might all like to make more rules and even set up a system. Who knows, make our own way for another one. I even got a sense of, can I say it, more important things. Oh boy, the way to speak is so simple and so many words for everyone to understand. One is going to have a hard time thinking these ideas. Let's take a short break so that our listeners might come up with new ideas as well that we can take back and rethink into stories or more rules for another round. Thank you, everyone, for giving us another round, and in that, my second word, we go again as we explore even more things. So now, another idea you might enjoy from these creators. Grug, I'm sorry, and you are Gudget, the creator. Grug, no sorry. Gug, how does she know who you are, Gudget? I can see how someone else could think that because I did say all kinds of strange stuff in there. But you could see I knew about your name. Gudget. So could she? What do you mean? I saw you just speak in strange ways and even name what we have here as new things, but a rule would say that that does not make it good. Differ what we all did. But that would make things hard if there were different things for everyone, but they're so confused now. Isn't that better now than how it was before?
Oh god.
What are you thinking right now? And with all your thinking, would it get to help with more ideas that it could put in and take
Just
it
calm down.
from this and other words? Just, well, I think it would be better, or it would work with so much of this going on, and here we are thinking with even more ideas. And don't forget these others now on what they just thought and do these too. There are rules to show you have some kind of a break that the more you all do here, the more rules will appear to help with some things. I need a break. Can you talk to someone who would help me or do that part better? What could that one person do better and have so many words to get help without really thinking a long time with his mind? Only some words like, how would I explain a mind so I can start talking about one as to how I can communicate this? So many more ways that could make even better ideas. So how about someone named you know that is to give you the best of his best ideas because that's where the good ideas are? And how do you even explain the no way? Do we make things of the ways and rules that are easy and simple? So when it comes to others that I need some new things that aren't all weird names. We did all try to talk the way they did in some kind of an experiment, like these big creatures try to be a new form of communication, but that has its rules. Not everything about words can have the same words, even for everyone if you do all those names. Gaga. Did anyone ask your name, Gaga? It has so many ideas, but to speak is not difficult for many. It just takes more thinking, which is, can make all kinds of other thoughts that make so much sense. Chomsk, before you all continue with this fascinating line of thinking, can you just say to the air any rules you all might have derived from this existence and your navigation of it? We'd like to learn a few, I think. And we also have our own names in this after all. It might take some work for our own needs and best interest. We think. Grug, what would it take for us? You see what we've been through, and so did not make much more of it than I should. What has all of you been through is where the story ends when all these games that you all have come here, we, meaning me and Gug here, tried to tell you things of the meaning of your actions, and you all showed us ways we did not understand. This game, this time that I have come through here, was for my own entertainment, so I could just relax. But when you did everything that was nice, I have had for the longest time, and that has been better. I do hope I made more clear how these are our new ways. But what about this name and rules and ways, and the more I know how these names fit me like my name, or is it not me after all? I cannot believe there was this name. I felt that one to be on a chain when it was another. How could that work, and for so much to work out on their own? But we're done for this time because we're about to really take it back to what we thought for this game of words for you guys, maybe with Kanji here, and find out what is best so that the same rule with rules is better. No, rules mean all this doesn't work out, but they might with more rules. What's so great about a few words for having these different names when we've already thought to change them all here as we speak now in our real world, once we live here where the games mean what we need now as this place for the time being as we think until we understand more or until we agree to work together with what you guys have. Chomsk, and the rules you speak of, what are they? Can you list them? It would help us a great deal in knowing your way of speaking. Grug. So they'll wait for all these rules you all just found, so many more rules, and that is good. All we need to know now is how we work this out. Now, Grug, you call me and all the rest here together one. I didn't understand this yet. We need rules, as this has shown me and even many other creatures of many different words to make clear why I could feel these games were all for me. When they found me, this is where they thought that I would find out about so many rules to change them back for me. Gotcha. Good. That sounds very nice, but maybe we can continue the story you began, which had to be fine, but needs rules for games because you said things about not even games. That means a break might be needed for all the reasons to make more games. But let's take the rest of today to get things together again here. Yes? Let us come back to this here and be so very nice together, and even if it wasn't fun for some, even more games to think up could have so many new thoughts of so many more things we should know even before we're ready. I think we should all enjoy a day like that in which to do nothing. Chomsk. Coco and Grug and Gadget, we are trying to help, but you're trying to think through your minds as quickly and in great detail that you might already know. That you should share to all of us who do not. Now you say you just play games to be happy. If there's no need to win, how are there games? But maybe there could be things here to teach us if you show us all you know so well of that game we call life. I'd love to share how it looks from my way and maybe make rules of even new ways to show the same game is a very real one.
Yes. Then let us retire for the day to our respective things.
Blorp. And let us all retire for the day, do our respective things, and come back here at noon? Oh, agreed. Bleed Blorp. All right, until noon. Afternoon. Chomsk. Today you've all done quite well for this afternoon in making new rules that have shown you might think this game will need. What could it need more that games would if we call some rules of it could be better and how to just play a game or two to have some fun? Afternoon to you. And do come back later. Back in the audience hall.
Alright, that's it for now. I need to clean my room. Bye.